A violent death sets the Doctor's old pal Rigsy up for execution, unless the Doctor and Clara can find a hidden trap street. When all the things the Doctor has ever faced seek sanctuary, only the mysterious me can harbor them. Will the Doctor solve the riddle of the woman who died in time to save Rigsy? Or Clara? Find out today in the Vortex.
Broadcast amplitude at maximum capacity. Transmitting through time and space in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Vortex.
Voices from the Vortex Reviews, Series 9, Episode 10, Face the Raven. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
It happened.
Is the end.
Oh no.
Poor Clara.
Poor Clara. Hey everybody, this is Taylor.
And this is Matt.
And I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm a little depressed.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's very sad. But other than that, I mean, fantastic episode.
It was good. It was
very
good.
It was one of the best, if not the best, of the season. I really enjoyed this episode. I liked just the idea of it, and it was super interesting. Like, this was just the idea for the episode, the plot, the characters, everything about it. I just enjoyed. I enjoyed the creativeness of it. I thought it was a cool idea that we hadn't seen before, and I don't know. Like, I just really liked it.
I agree. It was definitely, out of the whole season, it's definitely one of the best, if not the best. Though this season, that's not saying much, but it is definitely one of the best. I enjoyed a lot of the things in this episode. I really did. You're right, from the themes of it to the idea of the Raven itself, how the Raven kills, I thought was really interesting, really clever. I know you and I disagree a little bit on the minutia, the details of the episode, because I don't think it makes any sense at all. I don't think this entire episode makes a lick of sense.
Well, sure.
I think it is the least sensible episode in that it makes no sense. But whatever, it was fun to watch, which this entire season has not been. So if I finally get an episode that I can enjoy going back and rewatching this season, great. So yeah, no, definitely a good episode because of that.
Yeah.
And we have a final death for Clara.
Yeah. They've been
not a copy, not a fragment.
No. No. And they've been hinting at it all series long, almost annoyingly, but
right.
But I thought, I think Clara's gonna die, and unfortunately, I was correct. And I've seen a lot of people argue that it was kind of almost a pitiful way to go, kind of like she died on a technicality of something. It wasn't really as big of a thing. It's not. It's not as huge as Amy saying goodbye, in the graveyard, or even, Rose standing on the beach or something like that. And I don't agree with that. I think this was very well done. The scene, I mean, I was on the verge of tears right there when she's telling him goodbye, the whole speech right there. And then the scene where when she goes out and faces the Raven, it was beautifully shot and everything. So I think it was great. But I will say this, and to anyone who is trying to stay completely spoiler-free, completely, and hasn't seen anything, stop listening, and you can listen later. But
why are you listening to this podcast? You haven't seen the episode,
right? Well, we know for a fact, if anyone else has been keeping up with sort of, pictures of them shooting scenes here and there, we know that there is yet another scene that Clara is in, but we haven't seen yet. It's this shot, these pictures of her in sort of this waitress outfit. And I think it's even on, like, a magazine, like Doctor Who magazine or something. So she's in some sort of waitress outfit. And so maybe, even though this was actually her death, maybe there's still not yet a final goodbye, to happen between her and the Doctor. So,
right.
So I'm sure we'll see that probably in the last episode of this season.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the next episode of Doctor Who magazine. It's got a whole spread on it, which I'm actually I'm looking forward to. There's a couple of theories out there, and a couple of things, and I just wanted to throw my 2 cents into the ring about it. Some people have been asking, is it possible that when she stepped into his timeline, this was maybe like one of the fragments of her sent throughout his time stream? Just to remind people, she stepped into the time stream at the death of the 11th Doctor. At that point, there was no Capaldi, there was no 12th Doctor. So any fragments of her are from Matt Smith's Doctor and back. It would have been any previous Doctor we had seen, no new Doctors. So she could never have been in his timeline as Capaldi. Another thing that I heard was, like the other 2 that we saw in the series, that this might not be the prime Clara, that this was another Clara, that maybe he's been swapping out Claras, and the prime Clara is on her adventure trying to return the kid home or whatever that Danny Pink sent
Clara.
back.
Yeah.
Right. No. The other Claras were those fragments. Again,
the prime
there's only ever
something.
been one Clara. Yeah. Clara Miss Prime. Clara Miss Prime. Optimus Clara.
Clara.
No, this is definitely Clara, and she's definitely dead.
Yeah.
And it's her own making. She did this. She's been moving towards this, honestly, since she was traveling with the Doctor and Danny Pink was alive. And he even warns her of the kind of life, what the Doctor does. He changes people and turns them into people who fight, people who kill, and people who die.
Yeah.
And Danny paid the price last season. She has paid the price this season.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of this throughout the season, and I know I've spoken on this several times. And even before she died in the episode, my sort of theories about her and about her character kind of were strengthened, because we have this whole scene where she's hanging out of the TARDIS, she's laughing, not scared at all, and it's like she could have fallen out, and I mean the Doctor maybe could have caught her in the TARDIS again, but maybe not, and she has become so reckless, she's not afraid of dying, she just thinks like that she's invincible. There's no way
Right.
anything bad could happen to her. Either they'll figure it out, or the Doctor will save her, and she's just gotten too dependent on that and too reckless with it. And in this, this whole like, oh yeah, give me the tattoo, we'll figure it out later, not thinking.
Right.
Yeah. And then so,
well, and that's you're right, and that's illustrative of who the Doctor is, and he saw this, he saw it coming, and he didn't step in to stop her. Not from getting the tattoo on her neck, but he didn't. This whole season, he's warned her, but not really warned her. Other doctors have sort of stepped in and said, "Look, you can't be like this."
Right.
Capaldi just let her be this way, and maybe he feels responsible. Yeah. Maybe he was prep. I keep saying all last season he was prepping her to become like this. Yeah. So maybe this is what he wanted. Maybe he wanted someone else just like him.
Well, you can't control the control freak, so.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So yeah, I feel like this death was very well done. Very very symbolic of her sort of her character development and that whole recklessness that she had. It wasn't something where they got separated and they can never see her again. It was, her and Moffat's been talking about this a lot. It's the whole thing of like, and we got to see it, and now we get to see the consequences of it for sure.
Yeah.
Is what being the Doctor's companion does to you, and if somebody is able to stick around long enough, and is kind of a control freak like Clara is, then sort of become that person. But one of my favorite quotes in the sort of the speech at the end, Capaldi says, she's like, "Why can't I be reckless?" He's like, "Look, I'm nothing but less breakable than you." So
yeah.
He's like, "Look, I can afford to have this sort of life, but she can't." So, but she didn't really understand that until it was too late.
There are a couple of questions I've had in this episode. Like I said, very little of it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Me had a plan this whole time. She was working with someone to get him in a certain place at a certain time, so he would, get the teleporter on his arm, and then she would send him wherever he needed to go. It just seems like a really complicated plot. That's all. To get the Doctor where she need, First off, wasn't she supposed to be watching the companions and taking care of them? Why was she watching a trap street filled with monsters that the Doctor has fought?
I guess I kind of blocked out that episode, so I don't really remember what she said.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what she said. Her promise was she was gonna. She says, "And what about the people you leave behind?"
Right.
She says, "I'll be the patron saint of the people the Doctor leaves behind." And he says, they reference companions, they reference people, and I guess she could have changed. She could have, in 400 or 500 years, could have said, "I want to do something else now," which is fine, I guess. But I just, it seems like she had the capability of showing up, and she photobombed a photo Clara took, so that the way the Doctor would see it and know that she survives all those years. So she knew how to get a hold of the Doctor. It just seemed really complicated just to get him in one place, just to talk to him, when she could have just called him, or could have just found a way to get a hold, just send a message, "Me needs you," and he would have known. He would have been like, "Oh, well, the Doctor feels responsible for her longevity. He did in both of those episodes. Of course he would have come."
Yeah. I guess that may have been a little boring, but
well, it would not have been the same. There would have been a different story. I get that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, this is a really long way to go for something that I do as a viewer feel kind of cheated, because I'm sitting there thinking, why? It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been 5 minutes. She would have shown up one day at his TARDIS and said, "Hi, I need your help." But then we could have gone on to that next episode, that next adventure.
Right.
I mean, we could have done something else.
Well, if Doctor Who is known for its convoluted plots. I mean, any plot of the Masters is like, even Missy's last plot, what was it? Oh, let me make all the planes in the Earth stop, just so I can talk to Clara.
Yeah.
Or even before that, it was like, hey, I wanted to get you a birthday present, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning of time, start heaven, so that I can make Cybermen, to give you a present.
To be fair, though, his plots have always been really convoluted. Like the time he held the entire universe ransom with block transfer computations. He basically found the people holding reality together by thinking it through math, and he found a way to broadcast to the universe that he would destroy it unless they did what he wanted. That was super random. Like, really, dude? You're holding the universe ransom because of math? Well played.
Hey, math is hard,
Yeah.
Hey, well, as you were talking about Me and watching the companions, I kind of just thought of this. she said, I'll watch the people, what about the people you left behind? Maybe that's what she was doing. Maybe that was what this whole Trap Street was about. But she decided that the people that needed more help were maybe these monsters that he had defeated, and maybe there were a few left behind and they needed a place to hide. Maybe she thought, his companions can take care of themselves. They're strong, brave people that have met him and turned out to be.
Sure.
And so maybe she's thinking, well, these people need my help more. And so then that's why she's created this thing, and that's her life. Now,
right? No, maybe any number of the 45 minutes of that episode, that could have literally been a 2-line conversation. Sure. I'm just saying, the one thing that Moffat's version of Doctor Who, and I know he didn't write this episode, I don't care. He runs the show. His version of Doctor Who is, I greenlight scripts where nobody explains anything. That's his biggest weakness. He hates exposition. He hates telling the audience what they should think, because he likes to think that people can come to their own conclusions. But I think stories suffer when you don't have a character who takes a second and says, I thought you were going to take care of all the people I left behind. And the response is, I did for a long time, but I realized there were people who needed me more, like them. Oh, hey, look at that. 2 sentences, which equally and completely explains exactly my problem. Awesome. Come on, Moffat. Just, come on. You know what? Russell T. Davies would have done it. Yeah, right? He does. He listens to the podcast. I hope he hears this. Yes. I want season 10 to be good.
Well, speaking of things that weren't answered, who took the Doctor? Who is these mysterious they that Mayor Me is making this deal with, that's what they called her.
Me's got they. They contacted me to get he. So me got he for they.
He with no name, yeah.
While she got it in the heart space.
By the flying creature.
By the what's it?
the whatchamacallit.
On the place.
Yeah. So my money's on Time Lords. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's there's been rumors, okay? And even if I hadn't heard these rumors, I would have thought Time Lords, Gallifrey, it's a coming. And I hope to wrestle on that is it. Like I am praying that is what happens, because I'm ready for Gallifrey to come back. I know that they said, well, now that we know that Gallifrey is not not destroyed, but it's been, and it's been about 2 years now. I'm like, okay, I think it's I think he's ready to find it. I'm glad that was like something he could go do, but now it's like, all right, let's do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got somewhat of a confirmation. There's a synopsis out there for the last episode, Hellbent. But I'm looking that up now for us. But there's on Wikipedia, actually, of all places, a little brief description. Hellbent is Hellbent is the upcoming 12th episode of the 9th series of British science fiction television series Doctor Who, the final episode of the series of its 3-part finale. It's first broadcast on BBC One on the 5th of December. It'll be the last episode to feature Jenna Coleman as the Doctor's companion, Clara Oswald, so obviously we'll see that scene with her. This episode sees the return of Ohila and the Sisters of Karn, after previously appearing in The Magician's Apprentice earlier this series. This episode also sees the return of Gallifrey and the Time Lords, after appearing last in The Day of the Doctor. So I'm going to put some safe bet money on... You're right. You're right. I think it's the Time Lords.
Yep. I mean, I hope so. And so, okay, we can talk about, the next episode when we get to the promo, but...
Yeah, no, that's fine, yeah.
But what do we think? I mean, I don't know what their plan is. It's like, okay, you need the Doctor. That's fine. And I know I know the Time Lords are kind of dicks about it, but like, why can't you just be like, hey, we're over here. Give him a sign,
Right.
and he can find you and help you get out of.
To be fair, they did that, and it did not work out well for them.
This is true.
They said, hey, we're right. From the beginning of time, they put the message out there. The Doctor finds it on Trenzalore after everyone else does, and then subsequently spends 1,500 years failing to bring them back, and then he dies. And they have to give him new life just to try it again. So, they've tried that trick. It didn't work.
No.
It didn't work.
No.
So this time, I think they're just going to hijack his body and just be like, come on, get here. Get over here. Get over here now.
Well, I'm
think-
really... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's what it is.
Well, I'm really interested to see, like, what... Because I know there's going to be a twist. I know it's going to be, yeah, great, he finds Gallifrey, but the Time Lords are even more jerks than before, or something. Like, there's going to be something that either they're having trouble with something, or, you know, they need his help, or, you know, like... you know, I was always thinking when he found Gallifrey, it would be before Missy showed up. I always thought, you know, the Master's in charge and he's running it into the ground, or he's terrorizing all the Gallifreyans or something. Like, that's what I always thought it was going to be since the 50th. But you know, it's going to be something interesting.
Can I just real quick, looking at the next episode, Heaven Sent, on Wikipedia. And this is something we already knew. We've already talked about this a bit, but it says, before Series 8 began, so before last season, Moffat promised a cliffhanger to Season 9 and teased in Doctor Who Magazine issue 475, I figured out the cliffhanger to the penultimate episode of Series 9, and it's a whopper. Oh, I don't think you'll see this coming. I just got a theory.
Gather
Goes like
round,
this.
children.
Gather round now, children.
It's time
as
for
Matt
Matt's.
tells a story. Here we go. You ready?
Yes, I'm excited.
The Doctor's dying. The Daleks are about to kill him, and the Time Lords recognize that their plan to come back through the cracks has failed. What we see is that they send him a whole new set of regenerations, right? And then the crack closes and they go off somewhere. What if all of Gallifrey was put inside the Doctor? What if they knew that no one will be able to find them if they hide somewhere? It'll be the villains will find them. It'll be the Time War over again. So they're frozen in a moment in time in a separate universe. What if they put that universe inside the Doctor? So he regenerates, he becomes Capaldi's Doctor, and in him are the Time Lords. Everything. Somehow packaged away inside his genetic DNA code or something, okay? So why has he been such a dick these last 2 seasons? Why does it seem like he has no connection? Because he's not in control of everything he's doing. The Time Lords have sort of conditioned him through this new regeneration. He keeps moving. He's been training people. He was training Clara to be like him. He's been traveling, trying to fix things, but he's purposefully not paying attention to other people because
Right.
he's so focused on whatever's in front of him. Because the Time Lords are trying to pull him to where he should be. And now they physically have transported him to a place where he will realize, perhaps, at the end of this next episode, that's the big cliffhanger. Gallifrey's inside me. I've had it all along, you know, and now he has to bring that out or whatever it is, you know.
It turns out Gallifrey was inside you all along.
Yeah, but less schmaltzy and more death to all things because Time Lords. Not happy.
I hope
Evil.
that's a line. I hope that. That'd be hilarious. No, okay. No, that's actually a good idea. So he basically swallows the marble from Men in Black that has the...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in his
Got it.
brain. It's
Yeah.
in him.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a cool idea. I like that.
Maybe it even takes his regeneration to bring them out. He's going to have to regenerate to
Oh,
bring
no.
them out. Which means he'll choose not to do it.
Yeah. Like it.
And when he regenerates, that will bring them back. So he keeps them. So we'll have at least one more whole season where we've got the Doctor doing his thing, knowing that when his time comes and he regenerates, at least that will bring his people back.
That'd be really cool. I like that.
What if that was his part in the whole 50th? Why was he there? What if in this last episode he does get to go to Gallifrey somehow inside his mind or whatever, and while he's there speaking with the Time Lords, they instruct him on what to do to put them where they need to be.
Yeah.
He's the one that hides Gallifrey.
Yeah, and that's why he went. That's why he went to the battle. Yeah. That's really cool.
This is my idea. This is my theory.
If that really happens, this is proof that Moffat listens to this podcast.
Right. Even though he wrote it like a year ago.
Yes.
But okay. But come on. If I could have figured that out, let's just say this. If that's what it is, damn. Come on, Moffat. Give me a call. Let's do this. I will write for you. I got you. I got your number, Moffat.
That's right.
And if I'm wrong, you're stupid. That was a great idea.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Jeez.
All
right.
So there was a couple of neat things I liked in this episode. One of the big ones that I thought was really cool was just the idea. I liked the idea of sort of the refugee camp and the trap street and the filter, which was kind of cool because it was all humans, and then you could see like Judoon with the police officers, which was funny, and then there was the Ood like bandaging up, and he was like fixing the Cyberman, and then there was the Centauran guy and Silurians, and then did you see the Ice Warrior? But it was like the out of the costume Ice Warrior. It was like that face. That was pretty cool. But the one thing I liked was the idea of that whenever if you're counting something and you lose count, that's the filter distracting you and making you lose count. I thought that was a really neat idea.
Yeah.
As they were, walking down, and she was counting the steps or counting the whatever, and then she lost count, and she's like, "Oh, it must be around here." That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Another cool thing was there was a reference to Torchwood in this, which was retcon, which was the amnesia drug that they used all the time on. If you've ever watched, I know you have, but if any of you guys out there have watched Torchwood, it's mentioned in several episodes. Like it's like the amnesia drug that they use all the time to make people forget. If they wandered into not wandered in, but if they found some things out or they saw something. They retconned everybody, and so that was kind of cool to hear that again and go, "Oh yeah, that was from Torchwood." Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I loved the graffiti at the end. I thought that was
it's so beautiful. I want them to keep
beautiful
that.
And so cool. I hope. I definitely hope. Yeah, it's at least when he comes back, and finally gets back to his TARDIS. That it's there, or it's even maybe still there in the Christmas special or something. I thought that would be great.
I think it should just stay there ongoing until they change the TARDIS up, 5-7 seasons from now.
Sure.
Like, I think that should be a staple of the TARDIS for a while, because even after Capaldi regenerates and becomes someone else in 2 or 3 seasons, and Sean Pertwee takes it up, and he's traveling around. And then, it's him and his companion, Haley Atwell. And then, one day she's they show up on Earth in the 1940s for some, they're wearing the big shouldered suits with the hat. And she, they got the Tommy guns. They're like, let's go party. And then she goes, you never told me what that symbol's like on your TARDIS. And he goes, it's so I can remember her. And then everyone goes, because she said, remember me. And that was her thing.
Yeah.
I know. That would be what I would do when Sean Pertwee is the Doctor.
Yeah. Yep.
One of Colin Baker's daughters plays the companion.
Yes, or the Doctor. It might happen.
Or the Doctor. It could,
it's gonna happen
right.
one of these days. That's right.
Female Doctor. Could,
yeah,
could do it. Could happen.
it's gonna happen, and it'll be cool. I'm excited for that. That'll be neat. Okay, so one last thing that we didn't mention, the return of the confession dial at the end.
Yeah.
That was sort of brought up at the beginning, and I thought, oh, okay. I had forgotten about it because it was a big mystery. It's like, oh, what's on it? Well, what's something the Doctor would need to have confessed, and then why does May or me get to keep it? I know it's going to go probably
Right.
if it's the Time Lords, they want to have it, but why does she get to have it?
What if the location of Gallifrey is hidden on the confession dial?
Well, then that would infer that Capaldi knows what's on there, or knows the location, Gallifrey, or maybe he.
But what if he doesn't? What if the only way for Gallifrey to come back is through the Medusa's Cascade, where he hid his name, and that's his confession? His confession of why he left Gallifrey in the first place is what happened when he was 90 years old, just a kid, and he sealed a rift in time and space.
Or maybe it's his name or something.
Basil?
On the dial. Yeah, yes, Basil. We didn't mention that, did we? A couple episodes ago.
Basil who?
Yes. Basil
It's Korean.
Funkenstein.
Yeah, Basil Funkenstein.
Basil Disco.
Basil Disco.
Yes. No, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. There was a line in there where he did say, she says, what's on it? And he says, I think he says, I'm told it's my last will and testament, or something to that effect. So maybe he doesn't even know what's on it. It's something he had recorded, and then he had had his memory wiped and forgotten what he'd recorded on it, or something.
Sure.
So
He was retconned.
He was retconned or memory wormed.
Memory worm.
I'm really interested to know what's on this confession dial, because honestly, I'd forgotten about it at the beginning. It was at the beginning of the season, because he was going to die, and it will only open once he's dead. So
They'll also only open to his best friend.
this is true.
So theoretically, the only person who could open it would be the Master, Missy.
Yeah, or K9 probably.
No, it was to be delivered to his best friend, and it was delivered to Missy.
I know. It's just kidding.
Or K9.
Oh, so maybe do we think we'll see Missy again this season? That would be.
Oh yeah, because what was the last thing we saw? They were talking about the hybrid, and then she was standing on Skaro with all the Daleks coming in against her, and she goes, "Oh, I just had a really wicked idea," and obviously she's gonna be the hybrid.
Oh no!
I know.
That
She's gonna be half Time Lord, half
Time Lord,
Dalek.
half Dalek. Yeah.
She's gonna show up with a plunger on her face.
No arms, just a plunger out of one shoulder socket and a
Right.
just kind
Dalek gun out of the other.
Yeah.
Instead of a face, she's just gonna have that eye stalk that comes out of a blink head.
Yeah.
And she'll spin around a bunch.
Shall I explain? Yeah. So, just insanity is going on right now. I mean, and obviously, I didn't know that this was going to be it, but it is. It's part 1 of a 3-part finale. And I was so when they put he teleported away. I was so mad that it cut to be continued. I was like, no, you're not going to show us where he goes. I was so mad. We'll see that next time. But I was thinking it was going to be he shows up in some mysterious place, and then we hear "Hello, Doctor" or something, and then that was the end. That's what I was hoping for. But instead,
but if they did something like that, it would completely undercut Clara's death. That was the point of this episode. Was Clara died?
Right.
You want to leave everything else on that cliffhanger, even if you get him to the other place and show it or something. then that's the thing you're talking about from the episode, not that Clara just died.
Yeah. That's true.
So there were some pretty good quotes from this episode.
Yeah, there were a lot of good quotes. I really enjoyed them. I really loved... his nickname for Riggsy is Local Knowledge. It's just a good one. And then when he's scanning him in the TARDIS, there's the whole little speech like, if you want your extremities to stay attached, then stand absolutely still. If not, we can provide a small bag and you can take them home at the end. So nonchalant. Let's see. I liked where he's at there. She says, you be good. You be bad cop. I'll be good cop. He's like, well, can I be good cop? She's like, Doctor, we've talked about this. Your face. And he says, oh yeah.
I liked when he got mad about Clara.
Oh, I
love that quote. I'll bring unit.
it.
I'll bring the Zygons. Give me a minute. I'll bring the Daleks and the Cybermen. You will save Clara. You'll do it now, or I will rain hell on you for the rest of time.
Oh,
that's
God.
the Doctor I know.
Oh man, it was amazing. That whole, and even after Clara died and he came back, and he was like, steer clear. The universe can.
Oh, that
the
warning.
Universe can
you
be
think
a
that
small
warning was,
place. Yeah.
This is that you think that warning was for me? I was lost a long time ago. That warning was for you.
Yeah. And I loved, where he was like, the universe is a small place when I'm angry with you, or something. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
But the two lines in the farewell speech that just got just an arrow to the heart. She says, no revenge. Nobody else will here will suffer. And he says, what about me? And I was just like, oh God. Oh. And then, when he says, don't run, stay with me. It was just, I said it last time, and I regret saying it because then it happened. But I was like, when she dies, it'll be great television. And geez, and it really was. It was so well written, but she had to die for it to happen. So it's sad.
So, what are your final thoughts on the episode?
Well, I thought it was a great episode. Like, I thought it was really, really great. Like I said before, and really just, it was so goddamn interesting. That's what I really loved about this episode. It was just so interesting. I was so interested in the story and the mystery of what was happening, the characters. I was even okay with me coming back. She had a super convoluted plot, but that happens on Doctor Who. It was definitely the most interesting and creative episode of the season.
Sure.
The farewell with Clara was just so amazing, and sort of it really was it was a good wrap up to sort of that character development we've been getting this season, and her being reckless, and then just Capaldi raging at the end was just so brilliant. So yeah, I really loved this episode. If I'm thinking back, I would say this might be my favorite episode of the season, but I'm going to save that because I think the next episode might be my favorite. So
right,
yeah. So no, this was just awesome.
It was a really great episode, but it does make absolutely no sense. Why was me monitoring a trap street made up of all the Doctor's enemies? In 500 years, had she not found a better way to get a hold of the Doctor than tricking one of his friends in a super convoluted plot? Why wouldn't she just go to the Doctor with what she knew in the first place? This was something really important. He was needed by someone. Why wouldn't she just tell him? How can a death sentence be transferred once but not a second time? Why didn't, upon learning that the woman who died was actually not dead, did the countdown not just stop? It's dangling plot holes, but dangling plot holes aside, the episode was fun to watch. It was emotional, as so was Clara's death. Now that's something, the fun to watch is something that not many other episodes this season have been. This stands out as one of the great episodes. It's just unfortunate it's against a season that has not been good. So
Calculating. Voices from the Vortex gives Face the Raven 9 out of 10.
Okay, well, this brings us to...
Oh my god, that promo.
Alright,
those promos. Not at all. They were okay. Well, one of them was really good. All right.
Yeah, I would say the one we got after the episode was that was a promo, but the other one that we saw online, oh my god, that promo!
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would give it the standard exclamation.
Right.
It was amazing. So anyway, what we're getting from these promos. It's this mysterious, creepy castle of 1,000 horrors that Capaldi is walking through, and he's all alone, and something is slowly following him everywhere he goes.
Creeping on the Doctor.
Yes. And it's something. And one interesting quote from the promo is he says, "I know you. I've seen you before." What is it? What do we think this is? What is he? Is it? It looks kind of like a Dementor from Harry Potter, but that's not.
Well, they were just in Nocturne Alley, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where they were.
New president of Gallifrey, Harry Potter.
Yes. The girl who died and the boy who lived.
Yup. He's got his own sonic screwdriver called a magic wand.
That's right. And he uses his magic wand as a screwdriver instead of the other way around.
Exactly.
No, anyway, this episode looks amazing. And one of the best things about it is that it's only Capaldi the whole episode, which
I'm very excited for that.
It sounds like it may stink. And yeah, if you were to tell me that last season there was going to be an episode that was like just Capaldi, I'd have been like, oh, really?
Yeah.
But this season, I mean, he's the best part of this whole season thus far. And
yeah, definitely.
So I have no quarrels with this idea of an episode. Just him speaking to himself the whole time, or speaking to this creature, or that's just following him. It's going to be great. I have high hopes.
Very much
for this.
so.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for, and this being a 3-part season finale, I think I'm excited for all 3 of the episodes. So hopefully by the time we're done, Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, and Hellbent will be 3 of the best Capaldi episodes that we've gotten so far.
Yeah. What do we think this castle is? What is? It's obviously some kind of test, but I mean, what?
I can't even.
Yeah.
If it goes along with any of the theories I've come up with, then it's in his own mind. It's his brain itself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, those are just my ideas, my theories.
Yeah.
More than likely, it's something completely different.
Maybe it's maybe it's the Time Meddler. No, it's maybe
the Time Meddler,
or the Celestial Toy Maker.
The Celestial Toy Maker. They all have the same voice in my mind.
Yes, they're all the Monarch from
the Meddling Monk.
So yeah, I mean, it just looks so good, and I'm just so excited. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
Thanks for listening to us again this week, guys. We will be back next week with Heaven Sent.
Yes.
Until then, be brave.
Stay
Don't
away
run.
from. Yeah. Stay away
Face
from
the raven.
smoky-looking birds.
Just birds that are smoking.
If you see a raven that looks like the smoke monster from Lost, just stay
Run.
away. Yeah.
No, don't run. Face it.
No, don't run. Yeah, face it.
Face the raven.
Face the raven.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
This has been another Voices from the Vortex review, Series 9, starring Matthew Whitecamp as Matt the Time Lord, Taylor Davidson as Taylor the Time Lord, and Danielle Davidson as the TARDIS. All views expressed are the opinions of the two dudes from Gallifrey, and as such should be taken extremely seriously. Follow Voices from the Vortex on all social media, including Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. If you have any questions regarding the podcast, please email us at voicesfromthevortex@gmail.com. Doctor Who and all related material is copyright BBC. No infringement of copyright is intended. All originally written material is fan fiction of a satirical nature. Please, Mr. Moffat, don't sue. See you next time in the Vortex.
Temporal flight engaged. Returning to the vortex. End of transmission.